Well, hey, everybody. Welcome to the Vlog of Many Things. I am your host, Don.
Ken Carr.
And I'm Tom.
And with us is Ken Whitman. Ken, thank you for coming on the show.
You're welcome, guys.
Oh, what a show tonight. We're probably going to have quite a few people, and we already got a lot of people watching the video, a lot of people in the chat. For those of you in chat, what we're going to ask you is we're going to try to get to your questions as we can get to them. If we miss one of your questions, we apologize. We're just going to have probably a lot of people really active in here. So, Ken, again, thank you for coming on the show. I know this is kind of like a first thing for you, first time coming on a show like this.
Yeah, it's been a long time coming, right?
Yep, it's a big step for you. We understand that. So, I guess what we'll do is we'll just kind of dive right in. How's that?
Sounds great.
All right. Real quick, I'm going to just kind of start off the show with something is, I may use language like notorious, things like that. I don't mean it negative, but let's face it. I mean, a lot of people know about you.
There's some notoriety, yeah.
Yep, you got notoriety with you. So let me ask you this question: is what made you decide to finally come out, talk about things, be agreeable to answer questions, and come on the show?
Well, first of all, I want to say to everybody, I apologize for a lot of my past actions from years ago. Probably about, and if I seem stressed out, I actually really am, because this is important to me to be on here and talk with you guys. I know you're going to do hard questions. I'm going to do my best to answer them. I spent all day making sheets so that I can remember things correctly. And once again, if I take time to look at something to make sure that I say the right things, understand this is kind of stressful for me. I'm going to do my best to tell you my version of the truth. And even if that means that I admit that I am the villain in a lot of people's stories, and I was. And probably rightfully so, I was. And I admit to doing a whole lot of stuff that I probably shouldn't have done. But I would say about 3 years ago, I kind of probably not just hit rock bottom. It took me a long time, but that was the time when I decided to really take accountability for everything. And I know it's going to sound strange, but I kind of gave it to the universe, gave it to God, whatever you want to say. And I was going to quit, and I was just going to go do something. I don't know what I was going to do. But the one thing that I've always said is, if you're depressed, volunteer. If you're lost, take on responsibility. And so I went down because I had worked with kids who have barriers of entry into the workforce. And the only thing that they cared about was that I worked on Dungeons and Dragons and that I made movies. And so it's almost like the universe gave it back to me and said, here, now help these kids.
Now, this is your nonprofit, right?
That is my nonprofit. It is. And I use that along with films I make. I'm in the process of trying to be a post-secondary school to teach filmmaking to kids. And that's where I'm headed with everything. In the last 3 years, I've taught 5 kids, and I've helped 4 of them get into college. And to me, I'm using my creativity to make movies right now, but I hope one day that I'll be teaching kids how to write and how to do their own stuff, because technology is changing. You can actually pick up your iPhone right now and make a movie if you actually know what you're doing. So that answers the long-about way of why I'm here today.
Mm-hmm.
And again, thank you guys for letting me come on.
Well, I mean, I think as you can see from the chat, we have the chat separated. It's in stream, so everybody that's talking, no matter what channel that they're on, whether they're on Eric's, Tom's, or mine, they're coming up in here. We're not going to be able to keep up with the chat. I'll tell you that right now. It is so active right now. But we're going to pull comments out of the chat. We're not cherry picking it. I'm just grabbing them as I can grab them between us talking, so it's not trying to target you or nothing. But you mentioned your nonprofit, okay? Now, your nonprofit is the one that helps kids get into filmmaking, teaching filmmaking and all that, correct?
Yeah, I just for clarification, I started it. I have never taken any donations with it so far.
Okay. So, but the thing is this, but the kids that are being trained for this nonprofit or being skilled, you're using though these kids as labor, correct? For your for-profit film retreats.
So every state has this thing called a youth program.
Yes.
Okay? And in Kentucky, what I do is I go down there and I tell them, this is what I'd like to do. I'm going to teach them multimedia. I'm going to teach them filmmaking. And then each state will give a kid 480 hours worth of being paid. I paid my kids $15. The state of Kentucky paid them. And then I mentored and trained them. Now, I will tell anybody who's out there looking to do exactly what I did, probably out of those 480 hours, you're only going to get about 200 hours because the kids require a lot of mentoring. I mean, they usually come from families that aren't.
Okay. Yeah, go ahead. No, you're fine.
No. And so then what I did was I spent the last 40 hours of their time helping them put resumes together and getting them placed into colleges, where three of them went, one only made it a year, but she's back working with me and actually was a star in my Unnatural movie. So,
well, I guess the big thing, as you can see from the chat stream, there's a lot of questions. So we might take this a little out of order, a little bit
That's
disjointed.
fine.
Okay. Okay. I'll be blunt with you. I mean, we were very honest with you. I talked to you via PM. I was very open and honest with you and said you're going to get asked a lot of tough questions.
Oh, yeah.
You know, and I think you know what was coming. But I mean, I think the best thing to do is dive right in on something. Is you did a lot of Kickstarters.
I did. Yeah.
And you raised to the tune of almost $200,000. Go ahead, Tom.
I just want to ask for the record, because I'm not sure, how many Kickstarters did you do?
Total, I did 7. I fulfilled one of them under Ken Whitman Games. What we're probably going to be talking about today is D20, which I believe if I
well, we're going to be talking about not just D20. I mean, when you look at the other
D20 had 6 of them.
Yeah, but the thing is either way, no matter if it was even if it was Ken Whitman himself or D20 Entertainment, Ken Whitman was still the man in charge, the man who got the money.
Absolutely.
And I think what a lot of people are, and I'm just going to come right out and ask this because this is like in the forefront of these comments, is, you did all these Kickstarters to the tune of $186,000. I totaled it up. Okay. Almost $200,000 raised. And there's a lot of people that are going, where's my shit? So my question is this, is you raise this money. I have a publishing company. I know that, like, as an example, at least in Michigan, I'm required when I raise money to put money in escrow. I do it for my gaming convention. What happened to the money, Ken? I mean, I'll just be blunt and throw it right out there.
That's an absolutely fair question to ask. So I'm going to do the best I can with it. So let's go over a few things that I'd like to cover, which is Knights of the Dinner Table. Knights of the Dinner Table was actually shot, produced, created. The 3 actual episodes, one's online. The other 2 was given to Zombie, I always say it, Marcus, Zoe. And they had it for 2 years. And I actually believe there are quotes online where he talks about receiving it on the KODT, and they did go ahead and release that for me. The problem I have with Spinward Traveler, which we did film that, we actually showed Knights of the Dinner Table at Gen Con, all 3 episodes. And then we actually did show Spinward Traveler, the green screen edition, which means we didn't have the CGI for it yet, or the green screen taken out. They were created and produced. Here's the.
So you're saying, and I don't mean to interrupt, but I'm just trying to make sure I keep in line here with what's going on. So you're saying that, and we're going to go through one of these at a time. Through the Knights of the Dinner Table, you did fulfill that Kickstarter.
Okay. So here's the weird part. I'm not a very good businessman. I'm a very good creative person. I'm a very good salesman. I'm not very good at contracts and business. And when I did that, I had a deal with Kinzer and Company for 1 year to fulfill it. I had no idea that it would take me longer than that. So one of the problems that I have is I can't actually fulfill it without breaking copyright laws to Kinzer. I have asked if I could put the other ones up.
But Ken, in all fairness, then
Yes.
why did you begin a Kickstarter for something that you legally knew you could not fulfill?
I didn't know it at the time. I thought that we were going to get it done and we would fulfill it within a year.
All right, Ken, just to interject.
Yes.
I speak with Jolly frequently. We knew this was going to come up. And Jolly says that your contract would have been up once you fulfilled it, but you never fulfilled it. I'm just passing on what I was told.
Sure. And you know what? I have not seen that contract in a while. I'm going to see if I can find that. But I'm pretty sure I had a date of completion. And if I'm wrong,
you did have a date of completion, but if you missed the date, you still had to complete the project. Now, I've been also told if you need receipts for any of your conversations with Jolly, I can obtain them. Just
Sure.
giving you, I don't want to, put you on a spot here.
No, go ahead.
What I'm telling you is, if you need to have your memory corrected, I can correct it for you down the line, and maybe we'll address it later. But I'm telling you, I knew this question was going to come up. I had a feeling I knew where it was going to go, and I made sure I spoke with Jolly about it ahead of time. So that's what I was told.
Absolutely.
I didn't mean to interrupt the two of you, but
no. That's fair. That's fair. And I will tell you guys that I have a lot of holes in my memory. So I don't mind, and I've lost a lot of paperwork.
But in all fairness, okay, what you've got is you've got a series of Kickstarter, and I'm gonna say something real quick. Kickstarters happen, and something happens, and you can't fulfill it. Okay, shit happens. You break the news to your Kickstarter followers, but this wasn't just a Kickstarter. You did this to a tune over several years, and you've got a lot of Kickstarters. And again, I'll get right back to the beginning of this, and that is you've got $186,000 out there, Ken.
Yeah.
Where did that money go? I mean,
I think, no, I'm not trying to be little on the details.
We asked the question, you can answer it.
2 years. I think all 7 of them happened within 2 years.
Mm-hmm.
And just to let everyone know, I can start a Kickstarter anytime I want. I've decided never to do it again. So, I mean,
the thing is anybody can do a Kickstarter. I mean, I understand that, but I think what people are saying here is you have a large amount of people in here, Ken.
Correct.
That are saying, I trusted you, I backed you, my friend, and you went ahead and you didn't deliver nothing. And the questions that are being asked is just a simple question is,
well, here's
go ahead.
Something I don't know. Like, I was told that Ben Dobbins sent out everybody in the Kickstarter because I provided him.
Okay, who's Ben Dobbins and what Kickstarter?
Ben Dobbins is head of Zoe, and they created a DVD and sent to every Kickstarter for Nights at the Dinner Table with all 3 episodes.
Mm-hmm.
That is what I believe at this time. I have never gotten proof of that.
Okay,
It says that.
You know what? I want to highlight one comment here, and I think it's a comment that I think really nails it.
Okay.
Jason Elliott says this. He says, Ken, the best thing to do right now is to make a sincere apology.
Yes.
Which I think you're on here wanting to kind of make amends, maybe, and a plan for reimbursing people for their money. Now, you have a part of a Kickstarter is, and I do game design and game publishing, okay? I manufacture games. We have our own equipment. I know the game. You've been in the game too. I know it well. I do books. I know about your POD operation. So my question is this, there is a difference between saying, I owe you $50 for product X, but how about I instead use my resources and get you product X? Have you ever thought about maybe trying to at the very minimum, try to make amends by giving people the product they bought, or maybe try to get some type of payment. I mean, something worked out with people.
Okay. Well, the first thing is I've been nearly homeless for 2 of the 8 years. I have just now recently got up to where I pay myself less than 18,000.
But how but this is my whole point. Yeah, I go right back to my original question with you. And I'm not trying to get argumentative with you, but it's a question that, you know, we're playing almost like we're talking to Washington politicians here.
Okay.
You know, we walk around the subject. The core question is this. And that's why I'm starting right off the bat. We're getting the Band-Aid off the wound a bit. You raised $186,000.
Yes.
Where did the money go?
We spent it all on producing the product.
Okay. So you spent it all on producing the product.
Yes.
Well, that's great news. That means you have produced a product. It's sitting somewhere. Why don't you simply ship the product then?
No, this is the problem. I believed that we could do it for that money. The problem was we got maybe 60% on some, 70% on some, 40% on some, and then ran out of money. I mean, I was an idiot. I mean, I do apologize. I thought I could do it all on that amount of money.
All right, Ken, I'm going to ask you a question. All right, and this is a little bit from my background. With the funding from all those initial 6 products, all under D20 Entertainment,
yes.
And you took money in for pencil dice. Was it allocated toward pencil dice?
Yes.
Or was it put in a general fund?
Actually, yeah, all of it was put into the company fund.
All right. So you didn't actually say, I took in X number of dollars for these 200 backers, and I'm going to devote that money to, because I know Marcus King bought you an embosser for your pencils. I remember that. And I remember you were sending out pencils to some people. I remember that.
Yeah.
And then it stopped. All right. And now that was money that Marcus spent on you outside of the project, because you intermingled the money from the various projects. And I'm going to ask you another question going back to that time.
Okay.
You went on a cruise. You had a car that was on some extended test drive loan for weeks.
Yes.
Was this money that was raised for the Kickstarters that you were using for living expenses? Because so many people at that time in this industry believed that monies from Kickstarters was to pay them as opposed to fulfilling projects. So is that what happened?
Okay. So give me 1 second to collect my thoughts. That's a good question.
Sure.
I'm going to answer that properly. D20 Entertainment had employees, including myself, that we all paid from the funds. The biggest one is the cruise, which is interestingly weird because I think I went on that on an all-inclusive cruise for $299 at that time, and I took my girlfriend. So,
but do you see though how that looks?
Absolutely, I do.
You have a Kickstarter. You raised all this money in a Kickstarter.
Yes.
You do not deliver the Kickstarter, but now you're driving around a brand new car and you're going on a Caribbean cruise. I don't know the semantics of it because I was not with you on the cruise, but you know, do you see how that kind of looks to people?
I absolutely do. I mean, I understand that it looks like I had all this money and spent all this money, but I have never, since the time that we've done this, paid myself more than $18,000 a year. Currently I drive a 1994 Chevy van.
Now let's talk finances here, okay?
Yes.
Now I have my own POD operation. I can do books, I can do board games, I can do cards, I have all the equipment. Okay.
Yes.
I deal directly with China and Germany on my 320 GSM card stock and also on all my product. Okay.
Sure.
So I know the back end of the business rather well.
Yep.
All right. Now you had a POD book operation in Kentucky, correct? Okay. In fact, isn't that how you met? That's how you met Larry Elmore, wasn't it? Because he hired you to help him with his.
I met Larry Elmore when I was 18 years old.
Okay, but you did work for Larry Elmore through your POD operation, correct?
Yeah, I mean, originally I started working with him because I did Games Unplugged magazine, and I
Gotcha.
redid Snarf Quest.
Okay, but I guess my back end point to all this is that you're not a dumb guy. You know business. Okay, you have to know business to be able to set up a Kickstarter. So when you go to set up this Kickstarter, and I'm just going to pick on pencil dice, okay?
Sure.
All right, it applies to across the board, but you start off by saying, okay, I know how much this pen cost me.
Correct.
All right. Now I know how much I'm going to retail this pen for. So what I do is I know how much based upon how many Kickstarter supporters I have that I need to go ahead and supply, how much this is going to cost me.
Correct.
You have to know the basics because normally to
absolutely.
figure out, what's going to cost you. So when you start your Kickstarter, you set a goal amount. You have met your goal amounts. So when Kickstarter pumps that money into your bank account, now how I do it is that money goes into an escrow account. Now you did not, obviously. So when you got that money, why didn't you take that money? And first things first is you go and you buy the product for your Kickstarter supporters, and then whatever's left over. And I'm going to use a really weird. And I know I'm going to probably upset a few people, but that's your let's have fun and go on a cruise money. But at the end of the day, there's a core amount of money though, Ken, that you have to have in order to supply your supply. See, that's my whole point. I get the fact that you said that you're not a very good businessman. Okay, not everybody's a good numbers person. I get it. But at the same token, you did it once, you did it twice, you did it 7 times. And you knew people were getting mad. You knew you were pissing people off. So was there somebody involved taking the money behind the scenes that nobody knows about? Were you the end money man? I mean, did you have a silent partner?
Yes. No, I was the end money man. But the thing is when we're going back in time, and it's easy to talk about it now, but this all happened over a 2-year period. And there are a lot of things that happen that I prefer not to talk about, mainly because it doesn't look good in light for other people. And I'm not really.
Keep in mind one thing. I'm going to say something right here real quick.
Yes.
Ken, this is your chance to set the record straight. We have a blasting amount of people watching this right now.
Sure.
We have a lot of people in active chat. You know what? This is going to be your chance to say, you know what? Good, bad, the ugly. I'm coming on here. I agree to be honest. And this is just how it's going to roll, people. And the facts are the facts. Because
okay. I can do that. I can pinpoint you the time when everything went bad for me. I know the exact date and the exact time.
Talk to us.
So this is what happened. I didn't have a lot of contracts for things I was doing with Jolly. We were planning on doing 99 cents. We were going to take all the actors. We were going to take every one of the actual books and do all voice acting and sell little podcasts of all of that stuff. When we shot Nights at the Dinner Table, we had actors that came from Seattle that were really good. And we paid them more than our local actors, which I had met at theater. These actors themselves, even though in our contracts there was don't discuss what you're getting paid, they decided, my local actors met me on the morning of the shoot and decided to say, my grandmother died and I'm not going to be able to film and I don't know what we should do about it. And of course I knew what had happened. So I suggested to them that, okay, I would pay them. And
what would happen?
They were going to walk out. They were going to go to his grandmother's funeral.
Mm-hmm.
So I was basically being blackmailed. So I agreed to pay them what the other actors got paid. End of story. So what ended up happening then was I said, look, guys, I need to raise some more money to pay you what you need to be paid. And one of the actors, I said, I'm going to need like 30 to 90 days. On day 30, I get a call from somebody's wife who asked me why somebody hasn't been paid. And
okay, I'm just gonna push you. Tell me to go fuck myself, my own business. But who?
It was Jolly Blackburn's wife. And when I told her that I needed time to pay him because we didn't have the money, she basically called me everything but a white man and told me that if I didn't pay him that day, that the shit was going to go bad for me. So I said, the only money I got is for the CDs to pay the actors. And so that's what happened. About 3 days later, Jolly called me up and said, hey, everything's going great. I go, yep, here they are. And he said, what do you think about doing more? And I said, I would, but I probably don't want to deal with your wife because I don't like getting cursed at. And
what's real quick, what's really interesting in here, I just got to say something real quick, is Barbara Blackburn is in here.
That's fine. She can say that whether she did it or not, but I know what happened. And then afterwards, within 24 hours, everything was shut down. I was no longer being able to do anything. And that was pretty much the end of the whole project.
Mm-hmm.
And I had already had way over budget on all of this. And I was basically told that it is what it is.
Go ahead, Tom. Go ahead.
I just wanted to say, there's a lot of comments. I've been trying to read a lot of the side comments and then double check some stuff on the side here. And I think I'd like to try to cut through some of this because it sounds like we're going in circles around the mulberry bush. And you say you want to come on and make amends, and I am all for that. David Copperfield said that that the prodigal son was the most sublime story in the English language, and that's I love second chances. I love people getting redemption, but part of making amends is that you make restitution. And
sure.
Is there? I mean, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars in Kickstarters raised. I don't know that if that's a possible, but what are you going to do? Because a lot of people in the comments are saying, just his men smells like excuses and bullshit.
And that's exactly what I mean. I understand their point. But I agree with
see, Ken, I guess the thing I have a problem with here, okay, is there's one thing I don't see here. Okay. I have personally asked you a lot of very direct questions.
Yes.
Okay. And I have yet to hear you go, and I'm going to use sorry, this is not safe for kids language here, but I have yet to hear you go, you know what, guys, I fucked up. I owe people money. And you know what? I owe these people, because this is the thing. It doesn't matter who is mean to you. It doesn't matter who talked bad to you. At the end of the day, you were entrusted with a lot of money.
Correct.
And at this point, you're telling people, I don't know what I did with the money because I'm a bad businessman. And I get the bad businessman.
Yes. Understood. Now, realize this, guys. I could go bankrupt anytime. From the time we started to now, my moral values is trying to get these done.
But the thing is, okay, stop. I got to stop here. Okay. Moral values, I get it. But the thing is for Christ's sakes, Ken, we're not talking something that happened 6 months ago and you haven't had a chance to get your plan formulated. This has been a fuck around and find out since 2015.
Okay, I appreciate that. Do you know I was homeless for 2 years? My children haven't talked to me in 9 years. I have lived in a car for a year and a half.
I get it, man.
All the people on here made sure I didn't have jobs.
All right. No. You made sure you didn't have jobs. Go ahead, Eric.
Stepping in. People on here made sure you didn't get jobs.
I've had 2 death threats.
Ken, Ken, do me a favor. We've let you talk. All right. I'm the one who you threatened to call you didn't threaten to call the FBI. You call the FBI on me and they're going to wait on my doorstep. Shut up.
Know what they said?
Shut up for a minute. I've heard enough of your shit and I'm tired of it. You got to listen for once.
Okay.
You got to listen. All right. I had to inform my commanding officer that supposedly I was being investigated by the FBI because of some knucklehead on the internet who was in the midst of essentially doing a pyramid scheme with Kickstarters. And because I was covering that, the FBI was going to be on my doorstep. So you and I don't have a great history. No, why you wanted me on here, I'm not quite sure. But I'm going to bring up a few dangerous facts for you. Hold on. D20 Entertainment was never incorporated, was it?
No, it
never
was.
existed.
Absolutely.
It was doing business as, correct?
No,
am I correct?
It actually existed.
It was never. It was. I don't believe it was ever incorporated. You were doing business as. That means that you are personally responsible for all these debts. So yes,
Number one,
you could go bankrupt. You could certainly do that. But if you did, nobody would do business with you. So that's why you haven't.
Well, the answer is it was incorporated.
It was really.
Yes.
Because my sources tell me it wasn't. Or did you incorporate it after you started doing business?
No, I mean,
Okay, I guess I want to say something real quick. Okay, look, the bottom line is this. All right, there's one Okay, I will say this. I understand shit gets light.
Yeah.
Okay, I understand shit happens. I am on the back end of the manufacturing. I get it. I understand things happen with suppliers, with customs, all that good stuff. But you made a comment here a few moments ago that, Ken, I'm just going to have to, like Eric, call you out on. There is not one person in this chat. There is not one person who funded one of your Kickstarters that did this to you.
No, you're
the
right.
Only thing these people did, well, the only thing these people did, Ken, and I'm talking level-headed. I'm not yelling at you. The only thing these people did was they entrusted you.
They did.
They gave you their money. And the problem that I have with all of this is that it's not the fact that you did not deliver the Kickstarters. It's not the fact that you had an issue. Okay? This all revolves right back down to one sweeping circle, and you said it yourself. You have, I think, the inability to be personally culpable for your own actions. You're blaming other people. But you just said it. But Ken, you just said it. You said
he just said he's been trying to make amends.
But how?
Do you not still have that pencil embosser? Why hasn't the pencil?
Yes, we have a pencil embosser.
And you can make $100 an hour. Why haven't you done something with it?
Because I have to make a living first. It takes
yes, it takes money. It takes money to make stuff. I understand that, okay? But again, I'm going to go right back to my original question that has yet to be answered.
Yes.
What happened to $186,000? You obviously did not buy the cruise with it because you paid $299 for that.
Yes.
You obviously didn't buy a car with it because that was only on loan and you're driving some older car now. Okay. You weren't paying rent with it because you were homeless. So what happened to $186,000? For Christ's sakes, my friend, we're not talking about
all right, understood.
$50.
The Knights of the Dinner Table probably went over budget by double. The Spinward Traveler went over budget because, there's a reason why movies cost millions of dollars. I suffered from the Dunning-Kruger. I thought I knew what I was doing. I thought I would, with all the knowledge of making games, I thought I knew how I could make movies. And I didn't. I failed. I was under budget. I went way over budget. And then the
Kickstarter money, I'm trying to kind of keep up to this as it goes. So you're pretty much what you're saying is the Kickstarter money went to fund other projects that went over budget, and you kind of got behind on that, and it was a cascading freaking mess.
Yep. Now I did spend $15,000 on pencil dice from China, and when I got them, I promised that I'd have all of them done with foil stamp. The prototypes that they sent me were good. When I got the base shipment, they did foil on 3 sides and they could not do foil on the other 3. So they sent me silk screen for the other 3. And
so they sent you a product that was inferior to what you thought you were going to be delivering.
Correct.
Okay. So why do you just send those out? It's something.
Well, the thing is at the time I believed that it had to be all foil stamped.
Okay, so where are these dice at right now? I mean, I imagine there's people that bought it would just say, hey, listen, man, you know what? Just give me anything, I'll be happy.
Well, the answer to that was during my multiple moves in my home list, I left a bunch of stuff with one of my friends, and including drives that ended up getting burnt. Now, I did since then have rebought all the pencils. I have 100, 200,000 pencils. It's just going to take me time to get them all created.
But the thing is, this doesn't make sense to me, because what you're basically saying is that you have all the dice, you have the tools and equipment now, and it's just going to take you a long time to do it. So my question for you is why did you not, why not in the last year? Why not in the last 5 years start just making pencil dice and shipping them as you got them?
Well, the answer to that is you need to, for me to finish up everything manually with the equipment I have, if I worked 40 hours a week, would take 1.5 years.
Mm-hmm.
You have to have a job. You have to be
believe me, I get it. You got to make money to live. But on the same token,
saying that you shouldn't put food on the table. You should pay your bills. You should have a job. But 40 hours is not the whole week. And we all have hobbies and stuff we do on the side. Right. Saturdays for mowing the lawn. Screw the lawn, make a few pencils.
Sure. I have actually
because it comes right back to, it sounds like a lot of excuses, Ken, and
it does sound like a lot of excuses, and I completely understand that.
Okay, let's do this. Let's step away here. The dice are what they are. KODT is what it is. But let's talk now about, what about, Dice-O-Matic? Because Dice-O-Matic, you raised, you were going to raise and they canceled us. Let me back up. Let me back off that. So then you get into deck dice. Yes. You raised $5,197 on deck dice. Yes. And you were actually, wasn't that actually, or the pencil die or whatever, wasn't that actually taken from a guy by the name of Sebastian Bergeng? Because your Kickstarter used language that was verbatim from his deck dice. It was verbatim, like literally. I mean, I compared the two. Literally, you take them; they were lined up verbatim, and his fundraiser was an entire 1.5 years before yours. So you were. I guess my question is that right there, you raised $38,161 off that project.
On which one?
The pencil dice.
Oh yeah, pencil dice. Yes.
And that was actually taken. That was a Kickstarter that you did that you raised 31 grand on, and that was actually the Kickstarter language was a verbatim language from Sebastian Bergeng. Matter of fact, I reached out to Sebastian. Okay, and I asked him about this, and his comment was, and I'm going to read this reply to you verbatim.
Okay.
He says, "It's not the fact that he took my idea. I understand people take ideas and move on. However, that man utterly destroyed me. He destroyed me by people associated his project with mine. I have never been late delivering a project. And what he did is when I had the audacity to ask him to please stop it, he threatened me along with the FBI. He threatened to take me to court and bankrupt me. And then when I confronted him further, he went ahead and threatened me with physical violence. And by the way, he sent me a screenshot of your message to him. You threatened to beat the ever-loving shit out of that guy." Now, I understand that was back in the day. Now, you have indicated before that you suffered some type of traumatic brain injury, correct?
The answer to that is I have been to the hospital for memory loss. I scored 4 out of 5. They wanted to do more stuff.
4 out of 5 of what? I don't know what you mean.
That's what all they told me. For my age, I answered 4 out of the 5 things correctly. They wanted to do more research, but of course I'm poor, so I don't have the money to do that.
But you were diagnosed with what? Something? What was it?
No, I was never diagnosed with CTE. They believed that because I played college football and I've had about 3,200.
Wait a minute. CTE?
Yes.
Isn't that? Wait a minute. CTE, that is only diagnosable. Eric, you did research on
after you die, correct?
And yeah, it has to be an autopsy. And Ken, you're the one, you yourself. I can go back to my records and pull it up. I won't be for this show. That claimed that your issues were because you were suffering from CTE and were going to be treated for it. I remember this because I remember going,
right.
The man's alive. I've seen a video on this, and I know it's only diagnosed upon death. Ken, you have to forgive me if my 20 years in law enforcement, my 12 years in internal affairs, I have a bullshit meter. Yes. All right, I do have a bullshit meter. All right, it's not quite Spidey sense. It's a bit more accurate. And my personal opinion, okay, and I can't speak for my compatriots here, but you've been spewing a little truth and a lot of shit. All right, and I don't know why. Now, I'd like to ask you a very important question.
Okay.
Why the fuck are you here? What is it that brought you out here? Because it isn't about redemption, Ken. All right? And if you're telling us you can do a Kickstarter at the drop of a hat,
yes,
because Kickstarter was not going to know that you didn't fulfill your last 6 because it was a different company that did or did not exist, you're out of your mind. Personally, my personal opinion. Because your reputation, such as it is, and it's not because of anybody on the screen, it's because of you. Your reputation precedes you. And I've spoken to people in the film industry where you've worked. I spoke with a woman a couple of years ago out in Atlanta who was doing your laundry, cooking for you. She did not have nice things to say about you. But it wasn't relevant at the time for me to do anything more than put it into my file. But people that you interact with generally feel that they were taken advantage of. All right, that is the general feeling. All your backers feel that you were taken advantage of. You have pencils, you have an embosser, and you can't take out 30 minutes a day to do anything to fulfill your backers. You're not here your apologies don't mean anything without actions. Okay?
Absolutely.
And you are not taking any action. Coming on this show is not an act of redemption. It's an act of you trying to, under the illusion of trying to make amends, you are blaming things on other people. I know Barbara Blackburn. I know that the words that you said about a child of hers, when I heard what you said, it fucking floored me. And you've never apologized for it because I've been told that you never have apologized for it. And that shocks me. For somebody who's looking for redemption, somebody who's here saying, hey, I'm throwing my sins on the table, please forgive me, I'd like to make amends. That's the person you should be making amends to before anybody else.
You're absolutely right. Barbara, if you're listening.
She's not. She's already tired of listening to what she said in the chat, the shit coming out of your mouth. Okay.
Let me throw this in there real quick. Okay. All right. Let's take a deep breath, pause for a moment, and let's just take this very clinically. All right. All right. Knight's Quest. Let's just do this one at a time. No bullshit. No arguing. No yelling at you.
Don,
Quest.
Let me back you up a minute because Eric asked a question. It didn't get answered, and he actually stole my question I was going to ask. Nobody's buying the excuses in the chat. Okay. And, so I'm looking at your career. Whitman Productions taken over by your investors. There's just one after another business, irrespective of the Kickstarters, that's all under a storm. And Elmore Productions, the fastest way to get ghosted by Elmore is to bring your name up, and he's done talking to you. So there's a lot of dirt there. And you said it yourself. You're not a good businessman. You're a good idea guy. You're a good promoter. You're very charismatic. You're a good talker. What I'm really curious, and what Eric asked, but then he talked quite a bit, was what do you hope to accomplish here tonight?
That's a good question. I'm not here to try to change anybody's opinion of me. I've actually had a lot of personal growth, and I would like to apologize to everybody, especially Barbara. Things that I want to say is
this is your chance, Ken. You're on here.
No,
we have 100 people plus watching this right now. This is it, buddy.
The problem, going back into the past and dissecting everything. Number one, I have holes in my memory. Now, here's the thing. I did say horrible things to people. I absolutely regret things that I said. However, I do want to say it's not like I just bipolarly started yelling and screaming at people. There is things that bring things up. I don't wish to talk about them.
Well, let me ask you this question. We'll keep it very easy then. Wendy Lord is in here, okay? I do not know Wendy personally. I know Wendy's name from online. She's a big gamer. She's very involved in the gaming community from what I've seen. And Wendy says this. She says, I lost money on 3 of his Kickstarters. Grr. Okay, you are in a room alone with Wendy right now. What do you want to say to Wendy Lord about these 3 Kickstarters which she entrusted you, Ken, with her money, her faith? There's a basic premise among gamers. Everybody's welcome at the table. Okay? There's a premise among gamers. You know what? We don't give a shit what your fucking politics are, what your religion is. Let's game and have fun. But there's one thing gamers can't abide by is getting fucked over by a fellow gamer. So here's Wendy looking at you going, Ken, I lost money on 3 of your Kickstarters. What do you say to her?
Wendy, I can't change the past. I apologize for everything that has happened. I messed up a tremendous amount. I'm still trying. I'm not for sure, and I'm not going to make promises of when it will happen. I'm going to do my best to reach out to everybody, continue down the road of trying to get these done while I focus on my growth and getting everything done with the films that I'm releasing. There's no reason for anyone to believe me other than a track record. I have actually released 1 movie, another one's coming out, and I have 6 more coming out.
But these movies take a lot of money to put together and to get out there.
Correct.
Okay. Why are you not then going something? And I'm maybe I don't understand the movie business. I've never made a movie. Okay. But why are you not saying, hey, a portion of all my profits are going to go to the X fund, which is going to go to get these, not the Kickstarters fulfilled, because you can't produce product you no longer can produce, but at least to say, you know what, Wendy, I may have sat there and screwed you over for $300, but I'm at least going to try to give you $100 of it, just something to get you back. And that's the thing I have a problem with you right now, Ken. Before this video, we talked on PM, and you were adamant that, you know, Don, I know the question is going to ask. I want to make amends. I really want to make this right with people. But I tell you, Ken, I have not heard that. All I've heard is you come in here and go, I was a bad businessman. And the reason why this happened is because of those people, your words, not mine.
Yeah.
And the thing is, these people, only thing these people did was they looked at Ken Whitman, D20 Entertainment, or whatever, and said, you know what? I'm going to trust this man with my hard-earned money. And when it wasn't delivered, instead of getting, guys, I fucked up, they get instead, well, it's your fault. You don't understand how tough this business is. I do.
People,
you know what happens
want you
when
to take responsibility. That's where all this anger in the chat is.
Okay, so
wait a minute. Let me help you out here.
Okay,
it's it's about making restitution's about making amends. It's about making somebody whole, and you're probably not going to be able to do the biblical restitution, which was if you stole one sheep from somebody, you had to return four. It was 4 times the amount. You probably can't do that. I don't think you can. But it just doesn't seem to be. And Wampler said it in a comment. He says, "Let me help you out here, Ken. Go back to step 1 and start there." It's really, we talk about the 12 steps. They use it for a lot of different things besides sobriety. But you need to say, listen, I fucked up. You got to do the mea culpa. You seem to be trying to do that, but it's all the excuses kind of undo anything you've done. And until people see some real amends, not excuses, nobody's going to trust you. Nobody's going to forgive you. That's
I have a question. I have a question to ask Ken real quick. Taking all this stuff out, move this out of the way. So Ken, besides movie making right now, what are your current game projects you're developing? I mean, what do you got in mind? Anything flowing? Anything kind of in the plans or works or anything? Not Kickstarters. I'm talking about just general.
Well, here's the deal, guys. I make games all the time. It's my hobby. It's not what I do. I don't even publish them. I've got probably 12 to 14 unpublished games that I'm sitting on. I have contemplated, reached out to people to take the movie stuff that I'm doing and making RPGs with them. I think Unnatural would be a good RPG for somebody. I mean, the whole reason I got in the movies was when I was making role-playing games, I always thought, maybe one day some movie company would come and find one of our products and make a movie out of it. Well, now that I'm on this end of it, all that I've realized is that movies are nothing more than very large commercials used to sell your product and merchandise, right? Well, I am probably 24 months away from even having a profit off of anything that I'm doing. I am barely making a living right now and have to stretch out another 24 months before I see any profits from a film.
Let me just spitball a solution here for you. You love writing games. You're a game designer. I get that. I think all of us here on the screen have the same itch. You're published. Why not just write something and put it up POD? Use a pen name like Mark Twain did, because kind of Ken Whitman is kind of mud in the gaming sector. So use a pen name and but set it up so that any profit that comes in from that goes to a escrow fund. I bet Eric or Don would love to help you set up some sort of an escrow fund where that money is only going to go for restitution.
Keep me out of this part. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Well, no, I just
I'm not trying to be a jerk here, but the bottom line is Tom, this is the thing is, he doesn't even, this is the thing. He doesn't even have to have somebody backing him. All he has to do, and Ken, this is something you could do. You could go ahead and you could take some of your game ideas that you have, because we all have them flowing. Let's face it, like Tom said, we all have the itch. God knows I have a really big itch. But the thing is, what you could do is you could say, I'm going to start a drive-through RPG account, and I'm going to, every month, I'm going to post my RPG drive-through statement, and I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put this into an escrow trust fund, and I'm going to every month just start slinging a few bucks here and there to people. You'll never pay people back. Number one, you're never going to pay people back for what you owe them.
Yeah.
But the thing is this, at the end of the day, what you could do is you could try. But the problem with all this is, and you said it yourself, Ken, okay? And I don't mean this in a combative way. I don't mean to be this in a demeaning way, okay? But like you just said about 45 minutes ago, it's all of them that caused this.
It wasn't them that
No,
caused it.
but you said that. And see,
I
that's
did
the
say
whole-
it. I did say that because for a second, I got angry, and I apologize for that.
It's those moments. It's moments of anger that show the true ocularity of our actions.
Yeah, I mean, there are still a lot of things, guys, that I'm dealing with in counseling and coping. Now, there's a lot of things up there on the internet about me. There's also a lot of things that aren't up there. Like, for instance,
Oh, come on. I mean, first of all, you know what? The internet is what it is. People can put anything they want on the flipping internet. Hell, there's a guy running around right now that says I was arrested this morning in Battle Creek, Michigan, and put in jail. Literally, no, he tweeted that this morning.
What? Oh, I guess that's just something you're
No,
saying.
it's just a fucking idiot from North Carolina, But the point is bottom line is this: anybody can post anything, but you know what? The difference is this: is I operate under my own actions. I know what I owe people, and when someone gives me money, I don't care what the shipping upcharges are. I don't care if product costs changed. If they bought that product for $39.95 and it costs me now $49.95, guess what? They're getting it for $39.95. That's basic, practical, honorable business sense. And you know what? Like you said before, you used an excuse before in one of your Kickstarter. You said the shipping charges tripled. That is total, unmitigated, sorry, bullshit. Because in my many years of doing business and shipping, I've seen shipping jump a couple bucks, 50 cents, but I've never seen shipping jump triple. Now, I know what you were doing. You were attempting at that time to mitigate the problem that you backed yourself into, the corner. I get it.
Yeah.
But again, all of this talk tonight now for 1 hour, all of this chat that we've been having now for 57 minutes has revolved around one thing. Ken, how many chances do we have to give you? Admit you fucked up, but also just simply say, this is why I did it. This is where the money went. Again, I'll ask again I'm keeping track, the 11th time. Ken, I'll ask you bluntly, $187,000. Can you show where any of that money went?
You mean like an accounting?
Where'd the money? My friend, if I had $187,000, I could tell you generically where it went. Like, did you buy equipment with it?
Yeah.
Did you buy? Because this is the thing in the printing business. If you gave me $187,000 right now, I could buy a whole lot of printing equipment and game making equipment.
Oh, absolutely.
So where did the money go? Because, like you said, you don't have a car. You didn't go on an expensive cruise. You didn't have a home. You're homeless. So if you're no vehicle, no home, and you have $187,000 out there, where did it go?
You know, that's a fair question. I'll tell you what I will do. I will backtrack through.
It helps us. None right here. I know what you're going to say.
No,
you're giving the typical Republican, Democrat politician response. Let me circle back to that, and I'll get the records, and I'll let you know.
I will tell you this. Less than $20,000 went in my pocket, and everything else went into try to create what we did.
Okay, so 170, okay, ballpark, 150 grand.
Yes.
Went into getting this product made, correct?
Correct.
Okay, where's the product?
Well, the 3 of the Knights of the Dinner Table got produced and went to Zoe.
How much was that? Ballpark.
60, 70,000.
Okay, so when I'm looking at, though, and I'm going to pull this up real quick. When I'm looking, though, at the list, The Knights of the Dinner Table was $69,925. So it falls right in line with what you just said.
Yep.
So, okay, let's take that out. Knights of the Dinner Table. But what about Knight's Quest? Let's Spinward Traveler, Castles and Crusades, pencil dice, RPG pencil dice, and deck dice.
Okay. Knight's Quest got fulfilled. It's the one that actually happened.
Okay, so for $9,234, that's fulfilled. Angels Sing, Amen, Happy Days. So now out of 180,000, we are talking now you're down to 100 grand cold hard cash for let's just do this. Let's break it down one by one. What about Spinward Traveler? That was $49,588.
Spinward Traveler, we started writing the scripts for it, and we did not get through. I think that's when everything went bad. So I probably spent somewhere in the neighborhood of about $10,000 getting that ready to go.
Okay.
What's next?
Well, I mean, if you're going to go right on down the list, we can keep this real brief because I know it's getting late. I know that. Castles and Crusades for $6 grand.
We actually filmed that one. It cost me about $15,000.
Okay, but it's filmed.
It's filmed. I gave it to Trolloid Games. It was not what they wanted. They have never released it.
Okay, so you fulfilled Castles and Crusades, did what you're supposed to. You gave it to Trollord Games. Trollord looked at it and said, "Oh, this is not what we want." Correct?
Correct. And I have said that I would redo that for them.
Okay, so at least that's on the record. So that's on. So you're saying that's on Castles, or excuse me, that's on Castles and Crusades or Trollord
Well, it's
Games.
still on me because I'm the one who's supposed to deliver it.
Okay,
But
have they told you what they wanted done with it?
They have, yes.
Okay, when was this?
Probably after I produced the one that I gave them.
How long ago?
Oh man, that had to be 7 or 8 years ago.
Okay, so 7 or 8 years ago, you gave it to them. They looked at it and said, "We don't like this. This is what we want instead." And you have it back, right?
Yeah, I mean,
Okay.
I still have it.
So for 7, 8 years, what have you done with it? Why haven't you done what they wanted?
Well, when you don't have any money, you can't do anything.
Well, me sitting in front of my computer cost me nothing except an electric bill.
Yes.
What about RPG pencil dice? And I have one more after that. And like I said, I know it's getting really late for people, but let me back up. Let's just do this. You know what? I think the bottom line is this. I think at the end of the day, I just think, Ken, what you need to do is I really think you need to really stop, take a look inward, and realize you're hurting a lot of people.
Ken. I am.
You are.
I apologize for that.
I mean, and it's great that you come on here and you apologize, okay? But there's a lot of people in here going, we appreciate the apology, but we've heard this before. Where is everything that's going on? I mean, where is stuff at? I mean, to end this, Ken, the interview is done. Thank you for coming on, but let me ask you this question. What are your plans, if any, to make amends to these people? What do you want to do here?
Well, you guys actually gave me some good ideas about taking things that I have already done and being able to put them out there and put them towards a fund for people. I like that idea. Secondly, I have learned from my past that if you make promises that you don't know when they're going to come to fruition, they're just more broken promises. Mm-hmm. My plans are still to fulfill these Kickstarters. I cannot give you times or deadlines because right now I'm just trying to survive and make money so that I can try to fulfill them in the future. Other than that, yeah.
Because I don't think anybody in the comments, just on the tone of their comments, they're going to accept that answer. Okay. But why don't you take a year to marinate on this and maybe pursue some of this and come back to us in a year and say, all right, you guys challenge me. Here's what I've been able to do. And
I think that's a good idea, actually.
I mean, if the other people on the show are not in favor of that, I will have you on my show and let you say, all right, this is what I've done. This is what I've been able to raise. And this is how much I've been able to pay back to these people.
I think that's a good idea.
Because I do like a redemption story, but dude, you've got to do something. It can't be talk.
Yeah, and the thing is, you going on here, you attacking Barbara Blackburn.
I didn't attack you. I told you the exact truth of what happened. You asked me what happened. I told you.
Well, we asked you a question and you answered it. I gotta give that. So, all right. Well, let's do this. It is 9 o'clock. We usually run until 9 o'clock here on the Blog of Many Things. I know it was a tough hour for you. Okay, we appreciate you coming on. I'm gonna make an offer right now in front of everybody in here. If you think about this for a week or two and you start coming with ideas how you plan on doing this, then I'll have you back on and I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll mute my mic and I'll let you have the floor and you can just say, this is what I'm going to do, ladies and gentlemen, to start making this right. Maybe it's not to make it right with everybody, but at least it'll be some start. So that's the offer I have on the table. If you want to take it, it's in front of everybody. Fair enough?
Yep, I appreciate it. And I do want to end it with this if it's all right.
Sure.
Eric, I really do apologize for being a dumb shit.
Well, you know what? I don't have to take your fucking apology.
You do not have to.
Okay. I went through fucking hell because of you.
I know. I understand.
Right? So, and if you think I am a person that's pissed off at you, I am nothing compared to some others.
Understood.
Right? Others got screwed out of money. I got screwed out. I got screwed on a more personal level, but people put their faith in you. And you know what? I know this is the beginning of a redemption tour. That's the way I'm looking at it. And I'll be honest with you. You've dug yourself such a deep fucking hole that you're going to take a long time to get out of this if you ever do. All right? And the first way you're going to get out of that is to actually apologize to people, not find excuses. And say, if you can't crank out 50 pencils a day and take a little bit less time on the shitter, there's an issue. All right? You can't tell me you have these pencils you spent $15,000 on and you can't crank out 10 pencils a day. You have to look at yourself. You're not. You're looking at everybody else and you're looking to find the reasons why you're not accomplishing as opposed to accomplishing. But I'm done.
That was fair. I appreciate what you said.
All right. Well, Ken, again, thank you very much for coming on. Okay. Like I said, we knew it was going to be a tough hour. Offer's still open. If you figure out what you want to do and you have a realistic plan, you want to get on a broadcast and say, everybody, this is what I'm going to do. You're welcome to it. All right.
I appreciate the offer. I think I will show back up again when I have things to show.
Okay. Ken, again, thank you for tuning in. Thank you for coming on. Okay.
Thank you so much.
And we'll talk to you later. All right.
Thanks to all the commenters and the.
Yep. Everybody stay on the video. We're not going to go offline yet. We removed Ken for a reason, and that is I got a few things, and I'm sure Eric and Tom want to say a few things. This is the problem I have.
Can I scream? Can I fucking scream?
This is the problem that I have with all of this, okay? I did not expect Ken Whitman to get on here and go, here's a check. Give me your PayPal. I got my PayPal standing by.
Yeah.
But you know what really gets me about all of this? Is he has absolutely zero fucking remorse. He blames everybody else. And the statement that did it for me was when he got angry and said, it's all your fault. Fuck all it is.
These people are preventing me from making money.
What was that? The ocularity of anger quote that you said, Don?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh my God.
Well, the thing is, but when my point I was trying to make it is, in order for you to understand why people are angry at you, you have to have the ability. And I'm out of freaking Foster's premium oil can beer.
Oh shit.
That motherfucker made me drink an entire can of Foster's in an hour, and I've never drank this much alcohol in an hour.
Well, I've been saving it for when he stormed off. I figured I'd open a beer then.
Oh, he was close to storming off. Everybody, by the way, in chat, thank you very much.
Yes.
Thank you very much for not backing down. I know some of you thought that this was going to be an ass-kissing session by us to try to help Ken get to his inner good self. No, I'm not trying to be a jerk here. I doubt he'll want to talk to me ever again if I'm getting ready to say. But from what I see of Ken Whitman, Eric, first of all, sir, you are 1,000% correct in every verb you ever said about that man to me.
Yeah, I just kept pushing him on. Listen, what do you hope to get here? And dude, you got to make amends. You can't just run your mouth.
He doesn't want to make amends. What he's doing is he's
Right.
he has these excuses like
and to be
what's that?
Amends. So I don't know that he's capable right now.
Right. He doesn't understand that the need to make amends. He doesn't see himself as doing something wrong.
Oh, I think he does.
Well,
I think he 100% does, but he's like Voldemort.
He's separated from it though. He understands
yeah.
he did, but it's like, but look, who did
It's like other people looking in will know that.
How many homeless people do you know have a cat tree like the one he had in this?
Oh my God, the room the guy is sitting in is bigger than my freaking living room.
Bigger than this bedroom.
The thing is this. Listen, guilty as charged, people. I have a Kickstarter running late, but at least I update my people and I don't just simply take the money and diss a fucking peer. And by the way, like with WizardCon the summer of, that money's an escrow. Homie don't even touch that money. And that's why this summer I was able to refund everybody from WizardCon because it's called doing the right fucking thing.
Right.
And this guy I know what goes on. He runs a Kickstarter. The money goes into his bank account and he goes, woohoo! What can I buy with that? Sorry, Ken. I know you're watching this, my friend. The thing is this, is I'm not going to call you my friend because the thing is you don't even have, he doesn't have empathy. He has no empathy for the people he's victimized.
Right. So that's what he can't tap into, which is making it difficult for him.
Bad analogy coming. Horrible analogy coming. I'm sorry if I offend any women in this, but this is like the rapist saying, well, if she didn't dress like that, I wouldn't have raped her.
Right. If these people weren't gullible, they should never give me money in the first place.
Right. It's any kind of responsibility.
I put a link in a private chat. It's for not another dime. Folks, I always say, do your own research. Somebody has done a lot of research.
Yep.
And hey, I'll actually say this. I'm involved in Not Another Dime.
Yep.
It's not my website, but I'm involved in it.
And Barbara Blackburn, real quick, I want to apologize to you for bringing this narcissistic, egotistical, empathy-lacking guy into this chat and to degrade you like that. That was not our intention.
No.
You, madam, are 100% right. My God, this guy is just off the hook. It's everybody's fault but mine. How dare you give me $186,000?
Yeah.
Well, I also think that the part of the goal here tonight was that.
Oh, by the way, Luke, welcome to the show.
He's got movies coming out, and he wants to make money off of those, and so I think that's the redemption.
Yeah. You mean the money that he's getting? By the way, people, we did some research. This foundation that he helps kids with, that he gives kids training for movies and such that he's running. He takes those kids, which give free labor, and he uses them for his retreat for movie making that he charges people for. So he's using teenagers that he's saying, I'm training you how to work in the movies as free labor.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, this guy is off the hook.
All right,
Barb,
so
you're 100. Barb, you know what? 100%. You. Thank you for coming in. And by the way, everybody, Jim Wampler, St. Bailey, Yorks Are Us, Luke Gygax, I mean, St. Cuthbert, Jason Elliott. I can go on and on and on.
Yeah.
Thank you for coming in here and not giving any quarter.
Yeah. Listen, when when Ken attacked Barbara, I kind of got my Irish up, and I inherited that. I inherited that from my wife.
Good for you.
I said, oh, her curse is
Yes, yeah. And I really Ken can push buttons, and I know he thinks he doesn't, but Ken pushes buttons because my bullshit meter is legit. Okay, it is well trained and it's well honed, and I've heard excuses for everything, not just from civilians, but from cops that were jammed up. And I know the stories they spin. And my God, Ken is one of the best at it. Doesn't make him great. And it doesn't mean
definitely not on tonight.
It was not on
still
tonight.
bothers me what he tried pulling publicly on Barb. Because Barb is a victim here.
Yeah, but see, there's the tactic was, and I want to tell you because I'm going to embarrass other people.
Oh, did you notice I pushed him on it and said, "Oh no, you can go ahead and speak here.
Yeah,
you ain't playing
and
that
then,
fucking
and then
game."
that backed him into it, and then folks, no secret, and Jolly, I don't make a secret of this. We do talk on occasions, and we discuss this stuff. All right, and if needed, I'm sure Jolly will give me literally the receipts.
Eric, first of all, I don't mean to interrupt you, but you know what? You and Jolly Blackburn don't owe jack fucking squat when it comes to him on anything. You know what? This guy is a narcissistic, empathy lacking dolt.
I know.
Who thought he was going to come on this show and do his comeback tour start, and that we were going to lick his boots and go, "Oh, please tell everybody what a wonderful changed man you are." You know what? No.
He's not changed. He's the same fucking asshole that threatened the FBI to be on my doorstep. When I came home and I was in a fucking Poconos, which meant
knowing that you're a police officer and this could fuck your career.
Right. So I had to inform my CO. So and then Ken's like, "Well, I'm gonna make an apology." Oh, all right, Ken. You know what? I don't have to take your apology, and I don't believe because it isn't. Not only that, you apologize by your actions. You don't apologize by empty words. And all we got tonight was empty words. And I have a number of things that I can call Ken on his shit. I have a number of things. By the way, folks, we, unlike other news sources, we did live fact checking. All right? We did live fact checking on this show, and we caught Ken in a number of mistruths, lies.
Call them what they are.
And Ken, I'm very. The only part that I don't fully understand, except for his apology to me to want me on the show, apologizing to me doesn't mean shit.
You know what that was? First of all, that was his way of trying to show everybody. You see,
I'm a big man.
I'm a nice guy because I can apologize online. No, you went online, you attacked a woman.
Yep.
Okay. And then you attacked all the victims that you victimized. Okay.
Yes.
By the way, real quick, I'm going to push a button here. In chat's a very important link. If you want to know about this nauseating, grabastic shit show, that right there, ladies and gentlemen, notanother.blogspot.com tells you in depth just the edges of this.
Oh, God. And folks,
give me 1 minute, okay?
Folks, let me just add this. If you have information that you think needs to be added to that site, reach out to me.
Yep.
I can make it happen. because Ken and I go way back at this point. You know, I really feel that
And
Ken
by the
I have
way,
a special relationship.
thank you very much to Tom. And thank you very much to you, Eric, for coming on here. There's a lot of history, especially with you, Eric. And thank you for being professional. And even when you jumped down his throat, that was professional, because you know what? He was wrong for what he did.
Yes.
And this is the thing, this is just what really bugs me about all of this, is he had a chance to come on here and go, you know what, guys, I screwed you guys all over. I owe you guys money. I know that. Even if he said, I cannot pay you guys back. You notice I kept pushing him. What'd you do with the money?
Yep.
And he kept this revolving kind
of.
Well, you know,
real quick.
You cannot make yourself a saint by only paying yourself $18,000 a year or $20,000 a year. Okay, and the fact that he drives a '94 Chevy, I drive a 1996 Chevy pickup that everybody wants to buy off of me. So whatever. And I'm sure more than one of us has had to sleep in a car a time or two. So this sainthood, because I've been poor, no, you got to do something to make people whole.
Yes, I know. That was great from Wampum. Two things.
Yeah.
Pete Bailey, if you need to reach out to me, 10carstavern@gmail.com. Should be easy to remember. Secondly, when he was homeless, he was living out of Marcus King's store.
Yes.
All right? So he wasn't on the street homeless.
Yeah, he was not street homeless.
But the bottom line is this. No matter what did he do with $186,000 and he's homeless to boot?
He's not ready to tell us.
Well, but he definitely didn't want to tell us, because you know what I think it is? I don't think he even knows what he spent it on.
No, he does. That's the holes in his. That's the holes. The convenient holes in his memory, by the way, is that Frugal GM, the tip of the shipberg, because he took a lot of money for Kenzer product, and how many nights at the dinner table cover booked. And also, wasn't he also doing the Traveler models or something that were supposed to took money for that, and they never delivered?
Do you know what he did? He's sort of like Voldemort, but in a different way. Voldemort felt that what he could do is he could basically, via IP, get money. Whitman went ahead and just felt that what he could do is he could do these Kickstarter fundraisers, make all this money. And I know what he did. He raised the money, said, oh, I got all this money. I'm going to spend it, but I got another idea, and I'll make enough money with my next one to pay for both of them.
Eric called it
borrowing from Peter to pay Paul.
Hey, Paul, it was a pyramid scheme. By the way, Impact Miniatures. Thank you. No real apology, blame, excuses. I stepped up for the postage for Noble Knight Games to ship the ships for the backers of the Travel Spinward Kickstarter. So, folks, he took the money from the backers, made product, and then sold it instead of shipping to backers.
Oh,
so
real quick.
Other stuff.
I
remember
do
that.
This.
There's still more.
Yeah.
Just a minute. Jason Elliott makes a good point. He says, Don, if you're doing the math, Ken said earlier he spent 15 grand on pencil dice. No idea was that much, but it was his claim. Hold on a second. I can tell you something. I can buy dice, or not dice, pencils. Number 2, standard. Let me real quickly select here.
All right. By the way, another email to reach out to if you have information. Not another dime blog. Sorry, not another dime blog at gmail.com.
I can buy standard number 2 pencils. I can get them in up to 11 colors, my selection, just the pencils. Okay. And if I buy 5,000 at a time, I can get them for a nickel a piece.
So he spent $15,000 on pencils. What the? Is he building a log cabin out of pencils?
Well, if you figure 5,000, or excuse me, let me back up. I figure
that
a nickel a piece,
200,000 pencils.
If I do that by 5,000, oops. It's less than $300 worth of pencils.
But
that's the pencil.
Yeah. Well, because he spent $15,000 on pencils.
This guy's a walking.
15,000 on pencils at 5 cents a piece.
Is $250.
No. $15,000 on pencils at 5 cents a piece is a lot. He's building a home.
100,000 pencils.
Yes, he's building a home. Yes.
Jolly Blackburn, thank you, Jolly, for coming in. Jolly, we weren't. By the way, I just want to make something clear. It was not my intention to disrespect you. Have your business tossed out there. I'm sorry he brought your name up like you did. The thing is you make a good point. Is bottom line, Ken separates people from their money and disposes them and moves on to the next gullible person. That's exactly what he does. And you know what? He thought he was going to come on here tonight and do his beginning of his redemption tour. Surprise, motherfucker, to quote Venture Satanis. Goals without deadline equals failure. Yes, even with a deadline, it's a failure with this guy. Terry says he's got some pencils, but not quite. This is the thing. It's like he's so quick on his feet thinking.
Yep.
But he didn't know how to talk about where the money went.
Nope. And he has the umbozer, but I can't crank out 50 pencils a day. I don't know how I could do that.
How do you say he could do an hour, 100 an hour?
He said he could do 100 to 120 an hour.
Okay, if he did only, let's just say 100 an hour, he could work 1 hour per night after work and do 700 pencils a month or a week.
Yeah.
That's almost 3,000 pencils a month. How many did he sell?
And when he binge watches TV, which I'm sure he does.
Oh, I bet you his freaking Netflix subscription's paid for in full.
Yeah.
And I'll bet you his fat ass is sitting in front. Sorry. Yeah, I bet you his fat. I got fat ass too, by the way. His fat ass is sitting in front of probably a 60 or 80-inch LED freaking flat screen. It just pisses me off. So many people just went whack, whack, whack by this guy, and he comes on here and then says it's all your fault. Oh, that pisses me off to the end.
Oh, people preventing me from working. Well, I'll listen. If he puts up a project on Kickstarter that he is directly involved with, I'll let Kickstarter know. I mean, I found out about other projects after the fact.
Well, that's not work. That's
no. This guy just is walking trash.
And you can always get work if you.
Barb Blackbird said this. She says, "You let him lie about me. You said the truth. You did not." Barb, I really don't quite know what you mean there. We were not trying to let him lie about you. We literally were stepping in as much as we could.
Yeah.
We got to let the man say his piece because it digs his grave. Let him just expose what he is.
Right.
No intention was to let him lie about you, Barb.
Yeah.
But
I think that's an older comment from before.
I'm trying to get through. We got a lot of active people. Thank
Bailey.
You.
He says, I bet he still has some of the money in an account somewhere, which that's an interesting comment. If you segue it with his comment, well, I've only paid myself $18,000 a year. So it's like he's, and he kept saying that as a defense of the $187,000. So it is like there's money in an account that he's still tapping into. I don't know, but it's awful suspicious.
Well, Wampler said something about us platforming him and such. The reason why I wanted to do this was exactly this, is because I wasn't expecting him to say, guys, I'm writing a check, send your PayPal address to this email and I'll get you taken care of. I figured this guy hadn't changed, and I'll be just blunt with you. I wanted to showcase him for what he is, and I think we did a fine job of that.
Yeah,
I really do. I think this showed that this guy hasn't changed. This guy has not over time thought, oh man, I really messed up. I really want to do right. No, he speaks the words, but there's no, like my dad used to say, there's no ass behind it,
So Mercine has if I pronounce the name right, Ken's Pencil Dice Kickstarter update. He says, as a gesture of goodwill, while I finalize these plans, I would like to share my latest film project with you.
Oh, also, Eric. First of all, Gunther the Man says you can say whatever you want, but the real criminals, whoever
I
picked
wore
out
this
Eric's shirt,
for a reason. I wore this shirt. I was like,
see the
I'm
shirt
gonna
I
wear
wear.
my. Listen, if I knew I was going to be an asshole tonight. By the way, I knew I was going to be an asshole, so I had to make sure.
Hey,
So
I have. Oh,
so listen, Rach had a good point to make. He said he's going to counseling, right?
And has been in it.
And has been in counseling.
counseling
So that
my
means
ass.
it's covered by insurance, but the
me a
insurance
break.
doesn't allow him to get treated at the.
You know what? If he's in counseling, the freaking
CTE.
counselor is in
CTE
counseling.
can't be treated, but yes, Luke, and I saw your comment before, Luke. Thank you.
Peter Blix Bryant says 36 pencils each for 337 backers. That's 12,132. If it was 100 an hour, that's roughly 121 hours. 20 hours a week would be about 6 weeks.
But then he couldn't be producing movies that
Oh,
nobody.
he's not producing anything. I'll bet you all of his equipment has been sold off for pennies on the dollar.
No. He lives for his equipment. By the way, folks, we didn't get a chance to bring this up. I apologize. But one thing that was unstated, because he did admit that he pulled all that money together. So he was running 3 Kickstarters for films, right? But that was all using the same equipment. And then he took that equipment and he used it for other projects beyond the Kickstarters that never filled. Because he already had you bought it for him. You bought it for him.
I have a question for everybody. This is something that nobody's talked about. I wonder if he's still running Kickstarters, but he's using somebody else's name, or he's got another LLC somewhere filed and done. You know what needs to happen? Tom, you need to sick Tammy on this. And that is do some research and find out if he has any other LLCs in his state. And then you find out the company name that he's doing the LLC under, and you do a cross-reference to the federal EIN number, the employer identification number, and then you go on Kickstarter, GoFundMe, and the rest of these platforms.
Indiegogo, yeah.
Backer Kit, and you find out if he's running any of them under that.
Well, here's the thing, too. Ken has been involved in projects on Kickstarter where he's not listed.
Yeah. He suckers somebody else in to be the front man.
Somebody else is the front man.
Yeah.
But then when you dig into the production, you see Ken is listed under like 3 different titles. So Ken thinks that for some reason the person that's a trained investigator and did it for a living didn't do any investigating.
Well, real quick, Scale Forge Manufacturing says, to be honest, he should be reported for fraud. Brooklyn, he has been reported for fraud. But the problem in the United States is not like the movies. It takes a lot to get somebody hemmed up for fraud because you have to prove intent. There's a whole bunch of mitigating factors involved in it.
One thing we never brought up is that Ken was taken to court in New York State, small claims court, over the Knights of the Dinner Table live action series. In court, Ken had to do mea culpa. He admitted that the original. By the way, when it came to the live action series, the only stuff that was seen was
Real quick, Barb. Look, I want to apologize to you. I did not mean to upset you like this. This bothers me that you're this upset. Listen, do not let this man, Barb, upset you like this. This man is a total scumbag. Nobody here believes him. You are 100% in the right here. You know, we all respect you. We're here for you. But seriously, don't give this man the pleasure of your tears, okay?
No.
You know, you are fine, okay?
And if he tries to apologize, you can do the same thing I said to him.
Fuck you. Right? Yeah.
So with the videos, he had to because he never submitted the full def, the high quality. It was all the low quality. The full def was apparently stored in a barn of a friend.
Oh.
And the
Who
barn,
stores it in a freaking barn with common sense?
hard drives were stored in hard drives, which need to be like held under like a proper temperature, were stored in a barn that burned down when Mrs. O'Leary's cow.
Yeah, and I'm gonna store all my freaking game books in the bottom of my pool.
Barbara, by the way, I get emotional over Ken, and just because when he was making his FBI threat, my wife Rach, who's in the background, was like, "What the fuck? What I mean, she was getting really worked up, and I was like, "Ah, yes,
Luke, 100% right. Damn right.
Thank you, Luke.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ken can bring out the Irish in me for sure, but
well, I'm glad nobody bit, and I'm glad we kept the heat on him, and I'm glad that people sat there now really got to see, because this is my whole goal. I was hoping that moment would come where he would really show his true colors, and when he lost his temper and did his finger wave across the entire screen,
yep,
that showed exactly what that guy is.
There is no Ken has spent a lifetime, likely, of blaming others for his own deficits.
Oh yeah,
and his own failures.
Hi, RPG Rama.
And he's looking for shortcuts and Kickstarters. Hey, I get money. I'm paid. I don't got to do work. I've already been paid.
Real quick, I'm gonna make an offer. Barb, I don't know who you are, but if you want to look me up or give Eric it or Luke it, they can send me the message. If you want to send me your address, I am happy to send you some gaming materials for free from my publishing company, just as a thank you for putting up with this nauseating bullshit. And I'd love to be able to give you some stuff to kind of just read and enjoy. I'll send you a few of my novels too. I wrote a fantasy series. Happy to do it for free, my dime. So just little offer to you.
Not another dime for Ken Whitman.
Not another dime for Ken Whitman. Yep.
I'm sorry, I'm overclamped. I couldn't help myself.
Did you see him lean when you barked? He literally.
Again, I did the job for 20 years. I know how to deal with the perpetually self-assured. I have an answer for everything. You don't have an answer for everything because I'm not going to ask you the questions.
Oh yeah,
you are going to expect.
We discussed, prepared statements beforehand, and then he showed us all those stuff.
Oh my God! Ken sent about 20 minutes before show.
It was basically his resume.
Ken sent his resume.
Yeah. And a breakdown excuse of what he did.
Yeah.
Excuse me for my visual French here. Bullshit. That guy's a wanker.
Yes.
He is.
Well, Barbara, we want to give you a hug back.
Yes.
Put Barbara's comment up there and let her be the last one for the.
Yes.
Yes.
Hold on one second. I'm getting right down to it, people.
Yeah.
Hold on a minute.
What did Barbara say?
I'm gonna.
All right, people.
Hug everybody except
you know what? Everybody in this chat, everybody who has contributed to this chat, even if you just watch, thank you very much. I am glad that we got him to show the true colors of what he was.
Yes.
And Eric and Tom, thank you for coming on tonight with me and doing this. I know that it was a
need a nap
distasteful thing.
before I go to sleep.
Oh, I'm. It's Thursday night, and I usually don't have 2 drinks in a row, but I just might tonight. But Barb, especially to you, thank you very much. I am sorry for him upsetting you like this because it makes me upset when I see a woman upset like this. But again, if you want to go ahead and you want to send Luke or Eric, I don't know, I don't even know who I am. If you want to give a safe address to send it to, I'll be happy to give you some good games and stuff on my part. Happy for my publishing company. But I'll tell you right now, Ken Whitman will not be back on this show. I don't care what. He's not coming back on this show. Do you guys agree to that?
Oh, you know,
I shouldn't just say it. I mean, I got partners.
Dude, I don't think I would be in as much control as I was today. Not saying I was in control. Well, I was, but
You were
I
in
don't
control.
think I don't think that the Irish in me will be held back longer than the first 2 minutes if we brought him back. And I don't think my computer screen would survive the punch. All right. So just saying.
Yeah.
Just saying.
So everybody, thank you very much. Please hit the subscribe button. You'll help the channel along a lot. We really need it. Also, down below in the stream, you see www.goblinsgames.com. This is a new general gaming, sci-fi, and fantasy chat forum. It doesn't cover just gaming. It covers games and sci-fi, fantasy, events, all kinds of stuff. You can advertise your company in there for free. Please go over there, sign up for it, help it out. We're trying to get it to grow. So everybody, go ahead, Eric.
I'm gonna say if you're waiting for me on Discord, I'll be popping in like a minute.
Yeah,
I'm
Eric's
sorry,
a little late. Sorry tonight, but
we had to take it. Barbara, God bless you.
Yeah, God bless you, Barbara. And Eric and Tom, thank you again for sitting through this nauseating thing. But the proctologist appointment is over with. The rubber glove is in the trash. We're getting our trousers pulled back up. Life is good. Tom, you look traumatized. It's okay. Tom's like, I need another fucking drink.
It's an image I didn't need, but good. We're good.
But everybody, again, thank you very much. Thank you for tuning in to the Vlog of Many Things. We will be back next week with hopefully a more lighthearted and fun subject.
Yeah, we'll talk about, like, I don't know, colon exams or something like that.
Yeah, something more fun and more interesting. So
everybody, be uplifting.
Thank you very much. This is Don with the Vlog of Many Things.
And I'm Tom.
I'm Tenkar.
You know, you'd think after about 4 months, you guys would be in.
I fuck it up on my own channel, man.
Okay. All right, buddy. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much again. Subscribe. Thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys next week. Happy gaming. It's the weekend.